It basically rips off all the labels
Mm.
that the world place upon you, because when you're going about your natural life, your natural self, when you walk out the front doors of your house and go out into society or whatnot, you put on labels, you put on masks,
Mm-hmm.
you cover up your true self to protect yourself.
Yeah.
So when you take shrooms, it's an opportunity for you to take those hats, those labels off yourself and peel those layers off so you can get to the core of your true self of who you are, who you and one with your higher source, your higher power. And you can, and from there, that's how you're able to receive the necessary downloads that you need to receive the breakthrough that you need to get to that next level for yourself. Yo, 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 what's good, my people? Welcome to another edition of the Black and Abundant Podcast, the number one podcast in the state of Alabama. And here we are. I am your host, Jamal, aka J Scove, the producer. And this is my amazing, immaculate, beautiful, gorgeous black goddess, the Nia Cole, soon to be Jackson.
It's Nia Love, but
But I'm gonna say by Nia Love, aka by Nia Love on Instagram. But her name that she goes by is Nia Love. I got you, baby. That's good. It's got
yeah,
you.
I
My
know.
beautiful
He just
fiance, y'all.
he just wanted to throw his last name on the back of my name. That's
Facts.
all.
Let them know what's up. But yes, this platform is dedicated to the empowerment of our people and helping them to elevate in all important areas of their lives, financially, relationships wise, just mindset wise, black conscious, just helping to awaken our people so we can get to that next level.
Yup. All
All right.
about black and abundance over
Black and
here.
abundance. He feels me. All right. So, baby, what are we taking this? What do we want to do? What's up?
So, first of all, if you have not seen, we actually are dropping 2 episodes
Right?
today. 2 episodes. We were supposed to drop a mini-sode and then a full episode, but it just ended up turning into a full-blown episode.
It is what it is.
So, if you have not watched episode 12, then I need you to go and watch that. And this is just episode 13 because we had 2 different things that we wanted to talk about today.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so you know that we've been missing for a minute. So I wanted to treat you guys by having more things for you to have. We had to come back with a bang.
Yeah.
So you get 2 episodes.
I want to do something different real quick. Before we dive into it, please support us. If you're really rocking with us, please just take a little energy and move that mouse. So if you're on your phone, just hit that like button. Hit the like button. What it's going to do is it's going to put us in a position to be placed in front of more people.
And subscribe.
And subscribe, of course. We really appreciate that. So thank you. All right, let's get
And
it.
also, if you
Oh,
are one of our Apple podcasts or one of our Spotify users, please go over to YouTube and subscribe. Even if you do like listening to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, that's great. But also go subscribe to us on YouTube
mm-hmm.
because we definitely need that support over there because YouTube is a platform that pays. Let's be real.
Yep.
Let's be real. And if we want to keep this going, if we want to spread the message to more people, then we need to have the people that are already in support, the people that are already listening, helping us push this. Help us, help you, help other people. Okay.
Yeah, we cannot get to where we're trying to go. Now, trying is a cuss word. It's a cuss word. So I'm actively live as I'm speaking, unprogramming myself. We're unprogramming, so trying is a cuss word. We are currently working towards uh, getting to where we need to go, but we understand that we cannot get there without y'all.
Yep.
We can't do this alone. It has to be a group, collective effort. So please
Right.
understand that we can't do this. See what I'm saying? We are unable to do this without y'all. So yeah, let's go, baby. Let's dive into it.
All right. So the topic today actually has been requested
Mm,
by several people.
really?
Yes. So this is a special treat. Also, if you haven't peeped the manifested merch, go do that. It's the matching top and the bottoms that come in black, red, blue, and these 2 colors that you see. My mother is calling me.
Cop that.
Sorry, mom. Go head over to manifestedperiod.com to grab your very own. And there is a Black Friday sale.
Mm.
Black Friday sale. So go ahead and head over and check that out. Manifestedperiod.com. Also, very short, if you need credit repair, business formation, if you want to book a consultation to speak with us about your business ideas or your goals and where you're trying to go with yourself, again, go watch the last episode and we'll go more into depth about that. and give you some game on how you can start to elevate yourself in the career business realm and in ownership. But go ahead and head over to jscocapital.com to do those things. Book a free consultation, get some credit repair, get help with getting your business formatted right.
And we also offer do-it-yourself free do-it-yourself credit repair services as well. So where you can do it yourself. I have everything already laid out for you. Every single thing, the dispute letters, the how to go step by step by step. If you don't want to pay for me to do it, you can do it yourself. I got it, and it's free. All you got to do is just keep up with the monthly credit monitoring,
which you need to have anyway.
Which you need to have. You're going because I'm gonna if you're working with me, you're gonna have to do that's a requirement anyway. But if you choose not to go with me doing it for you, I have it to where you can do it yourself for free. Just keep up with the monthly subscription, and you can do it.
Yeah, and just being the monthly. The reason why it's free is because the monthly subscription does not go to us. You're paying for a monthly subscription to a credit monitoring platform, which you have to have anyway. In general, so they can tell you what exactly is on your report and what's going on.
Free, y'all, free.
Yeah, he's teaching you for free though. It tells you everything step by step, everything that you need to do to fix your own credit. Yeah. All right. So the highly requested topic of the day is a little plant.
Oh.
The mushroom.
That one threw me off guard.
Yeah, I didn't want to tell him what the topic was. I just kind of dove into that. Okay. Yes, it is the mushroom.
Okay. Talking about the shroomy shrooms.
The shroomy shrooms. Yes. Quote unquote the shroom, the psychedelic mushroom as they call it.
Yeah. Okay.
So this little plant has changed our lives in such big major ways, and it's changed the lives of many people around us as well. The reason why we are such big advocates, and you guys know us, you know that we don't talk about things that we aren't passionate about, the things that we don't stand by, things that we don't value. So for us to be sitting here talking to you about something very, what's the word, I wouldn't say well, I guess it is kind of controversial because it's seen as a drug, but for us to be standing on our platforms and using our well-respected platforms to talk about something so controversial and looked down upon, that says a lot about this plant. So,
and also this is our platform. We could talk about whatever the hell we want to, but we ain't, who we scared of? Nobody.
I mean, no, we're definitely not scared of anything, but I'm saying for us to be talking about this, you know that it's important.
Yeah.
Right? So where do we even start with this?
Where do we begin? I'm not sure. I mean, just start with, either we can start with our own personal experiences, journey, and just talk about how it's shunned upon and why it's shunned upon, and then we can go from there. Or we can talk about why it's in the shunned upon, and then we can talk about our experience. It's on you. Wait. Let's keep in mind, what do you think are some questions that a person who may be considering, embarking and taking in this beautiful natural plant, or what are some hesitations that people could have with this?
Let's do it this way. Let's talk about our personal experiences.
Okay.
And then let's go into why this plant may be shunned in the community and why it was labeled as a drug in the first place. And then let's go into some frequently asked questions or questions that we may think that our listeners will have about this.
Okay.
Cool?
Cool.
Now, I want Jamal to start because he is, well, I wouldn't say he's the one that introduced me to this plant. I had friends in college that did shrooms, but they used it in a very recreational sense. So I've always wanted to try it. I've tried acid before, and it's very different from shrooms. I feel like, I can't remember who we were watching. And he basically said like acid is like shrooms' older brother.
Yeah.
Like acid is very like in your face, but shrooms is very like Mother Nature type feel. But either way, yeah, acid was different. Shrooms is very, very, very different. But either way, I had friends in college who did them, and I've always wanted to try them, but I've just never had the opportunity to do so. And I remember mentioning it the first time we dated back in 2019, something about it. And Jamal was like, I'd never do that. You're going to be doing that by yourself. I'm not trying that. And then when we reconnected last year, he made it known. And it's so funny because I manifested that. Because I remember I was talking to one of my friends last year and I was like, do you know anywhere that I can get some shrooms? Like, why is it so hard to find? Like, I really feel like it's time for me to do this, but I cannot find them anywhere. And then Jamal waltzes on back into my life, slides into my DMs, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, yeah, I've done shrooms. It's like, what?
Yeah.
What? So, Jamal, I want you to talk about your experience.
Yeah.
And then we'll go into mine.
So diving into my personal experience with shooting. So first I have to give a major shout out to my guy Kamal Ra. If you listening, God, thank you for introducing me to this beautiful thing that has been hidden from our people for a long time. And it's out there, but it's just not um focused on. What's another word I can say? I don't want to say glorified, but it's not promoted. There we go. Very beautiful word. It's not promoted. And the reason why is because it's deemed as a drug, uh, um, hallucinogenic, whatever they place these labels on. But it's actually a very enlightening, awakening, natural thing that's been around for thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
Also, you can't label a plant as a drug.
Right.
Just side note. Same thing with cannabis.
Yeah.
You cannot label a plant as a drug.
Yeah. When you have people that don't look like us out here trying to play God, the role of God, thinking that they can control these things, they can do whatever they want to.
Side note, did you see that the FDA is going to start putting regulations on herbs, natural herbs?
I'm not surprised. Why? Why? Why, babe?
Control. Because these herbs are keeping us awakened and helping our people. They are actually out here curing disease and illness. And if you haven't watched our episode on that, I think it's episode 10. I want to say it's episode 10. So go watch that. But yeah, they don't want us to have, and I guess we're just going to dive into why it was deemed wrong, but they don't want us to have access to things that are actually going to help us and keep us awakened, because then it takes away their control.
Right.
They want to have control over us, because if they control what we consume and what we do, how we think, then they have access to our resources. They have access to our money, to our time. We get to continue to be cogs in their machine. So that's why it was labeled as a drug. That's why they're trying to put regulations on herbs that you can go outside and get. It's because they want to control our ability to break free from their control.
Yep. Their number one goal is to keep it ignorant, suppressed, oppressed, and controlled. They have to in order to maintain their power.
Yep.
And they understand that natural things that was placed here by Mama Nature is the key to setting you free.
Yeah.
It's the key to setting you free, and they know that. So they know that if they have a great mass of people who are free, they no longer have control.
Yep.
So if you want your freedom back, listen.
Yeah.
Listen to us. We may know a thing or two. So yeah, back to what I was saying. Shout out to my brother. Thank you. But yeah, last year, right around this time, September, is when I started my journey, my shroom journey. And it all started with just me having conversations with Kamal. And he was telling me that he was diving into it. I was like, oh yeah, really cool. Yada yada. Yeah, it sounds cool, whatnot. But I didn't think nothing of it. And just going on about my life. And he called me one day. He just started to tell me about his experience with it. He was just saying how he was able to just unlock new awakenings within himself. Now, people may be thinking, like, what does that look like? But it's only personal to you. But on his experience, he was just saying how like he released like a huge cry. When I say huge cry, meaning that he was through that cry, it wasn't just like, oh, but it was like a just uncontrollable tears just starting to come out. And just whatever that was within him that he was dealing with, just holding on to at that point in time in his life. By him going on his shroom trip, we're gonna identify these sessions as shroom trips. All right. So there's micro trips and there's macro trips. So micro, we'll dive deep into that. So in this case, macro dosing, macro trip. So he went on a macro trip. And in that experience, he was able to unleash a lot of pent up things that he was unknowingly been holding on to. Because what the shrooms do, they guide you. You definitely want to make sure that you are doing it in a manner with the intention of spiritual awakening, or just something to awaken you, not recreational at all.
Can I give a disclaimer real quick?
Yeah.
First of all, I probably should have said this earlier, but I encourage everyone to be very open minded during this conversation, and things might not make sense because a lot of the times when we're trying to explain shroom trips and just shrooms in general and our experiences, it doesn't make sense a lot of the time.
Right.
And you just kind of have to you have to be open minded. You have to experience it for yourself in order to really understand it. But we're going to do our absolute best to explain it to you. But on top of that, what were you just saying about you were going into something? Oh my god,
I can't even remember. It's okay, but yeah, finish your point and I'll just dive back into it.
No, I wanted to. You were talking about macro and micro,
Yeah.
and then you were talking about
it's when you're doing this, make sure your intention is coming from a spiritual,
recreational.
Yeah, a spiritual intention, a spiritual perspective, open-minded experience, not just on some what everybody does on some drug type energy, want to have fun, like, oh, see stuff, like, no.
That's the disclaimer that I wanted to make, is that this is not a recreational plant. Do not use it recreationally. I've even gotten to a point where I'm starting to see, smoking weed or like consuming edibles as I'm trying to create. Like, marijuana brings my creative energy out. It makes me think a little bit more clearly, especially when I have writer's block or like dancer's block. It really helps me tap into my feminine some more. So I'm starting to not use it recreationally and staying away from that, because I understand when I use it recreationally, it gives me anxiety.
Yeah.
But when I use it intentionally, it can really take my creative side to the next level. So just using these plants in a place where they are intentionally being used and not just for recreational purposes. We tried to use shrooms recreationally one time.
Never again.
Never again. It was a terrible experience.
Yeah.
I hated it.
Shrooms are, to me, you give it the respect that it demands and deserves. It comes from nature. It's a natural, powerful, we can call it plant.
Yeah.
It's a plant. It's a natural plant that it demands the respect that it deserves.
It does
it's
demand
a
respect.
healing. It's a healing plant. So that's the type of energy that you must go into it.
Yeah, continue your story. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's very, very important. But yeah, he was just sharing his experiences where at one point he released a big cry, and in that was crying, he was able to just unleash a lot of pent up things that was holding him down internally or whatever. And I'm like, wow, that's dope. And after he had that release, and he just felt like this new weight just being lifted off of him. He just felt this newness about himself. And also, just want to say this as well. It may not be for you where you have like one session and it's just like, oh, everything's new. For some people, it may take several, multiple, like your second, third as you, but every time it's going to be something different. It's going to be something different, because what shrooms is it shroom does or shroom do? What shroom do?
What shrooms do?
Yeah, I'm not scared to say that my grammar is not the best. It is what it is. I don't really rock with this English language like that.
Gotta learn Swahili.
Yeah, Swahili is definitely the goal. But yeah, what shroom, whatever the word is, what it does.
What shrooms do?
What shrooms do? What shrooms do is they cater to you where you're at that point in your life. And they're there to teach you whatever it is you need to be taught about yourself. And so that's what it did for him at that time. I was like, wow, that's cool. And right around that time, I was going through, and we're all going through our own whatever dealings.
Yeah.
And yeah, at that time, I was kind of in a weird space in my life, and I wanted some answers.
Yeah.
And that's how we go into shrooms. Like, okay, whenever we need answers to something, if there's like a certain, like a blockage, like you would know just this feeling within you, just something you just can't get over within yourself. This where we go to Mama Nature, aka shrooms, to receive downloads and information from our higher selves, source energy. and so we can get that breakthrough. So yeah, and he did that. I was like, bro, you know what? I want to try that. I want to try it. And he was like, all right, cool, I got you. And some weeks passed by, and he told me he had some. And he came over to my apartment. I was living in a studio apartment, sleeping on the floor. You know what I'm saying? And those were the days, man. Just out here trying to figure it out. But he guided me on my first trip, and that's another thing I encourage you. Whenever you do decide to take shrooms, do it with somebody who has already done it before,
Yeah.
or somebody there just there to watch it, not for the sake of just something that happened, just for your own peace and comfort,
Mm-hmm.
just so that you can know just somebody is there. Because think about it, let's be real. The world has programmed you to think that shrooms is a negative thing, it's a bad thing. So for you to challenge, to believe yourself enough to become open-minded to try something new, you're gonna be skeptical.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. Like I said, just it's okay. So I would encourage you to have somebody there on your first experience. Uh, ideally, idealistically, whatever the word is, somebody who's already has already experienced in that way. So he was there, and man, it was just. I'm not gonna sit here and say like, I had like a huge big awakening,
Mm-hmm.
but I will say though, there was one point in that journey where it was like I called my child self.
You never really told me about your first room experience, so this
Yeah,
is news to me.
yeah. Um, this may sound weird, but like I said, that was my experience. But there was a point in the session where like I had grabbed my phone, right? And I had turned the front camera on. I started looking at myself. I just want to see what I looked like. And then when I looked at myself in that camera, immediately I saw my child self.
Mm.
Like I saw him, maybe not like physically, but like energetically wise. It's like I was looking at
Mm.
him. He was in there. It was
Mm.
in me, and it was like he wanted to say something to me, or it was just there.
Mm-hmm.
And in that moment, I respected that, and something was just telling me like talk to him, just talk to him. And basically, what I told him, if I can remember, it's like, bro, it's okay. You're gonna be okay, bro. Man, you're not crazy. You're not weird. Because the things that I struggled with as a child,
Mm-hmm.
you if you haven't dealt with those things, you hold on to them even in your adult life. And basically, what I was doing in that moment, I was just having a conversation with him, having him to know that everything was okay, bro. Like, man, you a cool ass dude, and man, I love you, man. I love you, bro. And like in that moment, it was so healing for me. It
Mm-hmm.
was really healing for me to just to have that conversation with my childhood self. And there was other experiences that I felt, but that was just one that I truly remember in that moment. And yeah, it brought a lot of peace to me, a lot of I guess you could say closure, like
Mm-hmm.
mini closure, for my child self. And yeah, that was it, really. I mean, there was more that all I can think of at this time being, but there was more in the experience. But it was a really great first experience.
Yeah.
Nothing bad, nothing negative. It was fun. It was amazing. I experienced a lot in that moment. And then after that moment, I was like, okay, that was dope.
Yeah.
I want to really like tap in with this. And that was just my first time. And I know it can get its levels to it. I was like, man, my first one like this, man, I want to go deeper. What else can I unleash within myself? What else can I do?
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I never looked back. And now we on a, taking it to other new levels, if you know what I'm talking about. And we are inviting people into their own personal experiences because we see the power in it,
Yeah.
and it's truly setting people free.
Yeah.
And so yeah, here we are a year later on our journey. And this is something that I don't do all the time. Maybe once, even once,
Yeah.
I would say once every 90 days, or maybe twice every 90 days. Maybe.
It's not like it's a routine type of
Yeah.
thing. It's like you said, anytime that we feel any type of spiritual blockages. Like I was saying that I kind of want to take one soon because I feel like it's needed right now.
Mm-hmm.
You might need to do one twice in 1 month because you just feel drawn to it, you just feel pulled to, or you might
Yeah,
not need to do one for a while.
for sure.
It's really just dependent on whenever you feel drawn to do it. And every time we have a conversation with somebody about our experience, or they're questioning us about it, and if they should go on their own shroom experience, I always tell them, when you're ready, you'll know.
When you're ready, you'll know.
You might be skeptical right now, but we've already planted this seed within you. So we understand that whenever you're ready, it'll be known to you. You'll know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and before you dive into yours, Quinn, I just want to make it clear again that your spiritual journey is your spiritual journey.
Yeah.
Like, give your spiritual journey the respect that it deserves. Mine is mine, yours is yours, and yours is yours. And I can just hear it now. You're gonna have those people. Just pray. Oh, you need Jesus. Oh, just pray. What? Why can I just pray? Like,
It's deeper than
it's
that.
deeper than that,
There are
y'all.
levels.
It's levels to it. Yep, it's really deeper than that. And I just want to say that when it comes to shrooms, like, this is my way, this is our way to receive the necessary spiritual downloads from our higher source, our higher power, have that connection and those internal breakthroughs. This is one way that we decide to do so, and it has changed the game for us. You see, we ain't out here crazy or thinking crazy. And if anything, y'all look at us, y'all. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that look at us and be like, "Wow."
Mm-hmm.
And the
There's a
reason
reason
why,
why we're here.
like, somebody was in my DMs today and said, like, "Bro, you are the GOAT." Threw me off. But like, why is that? Because he said, well, I asked him, like, bro, why you said that? He said, because you being you.
Dang, that's
I
different.
said, oh wow.
That's dope.
So by me being me, people see me, and they don't even know that, like, the back ends of what I do in my personal life. But by me just being me, but now I'm sharing the things that I do as a part of me being me. You should be open minded.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? So I just wanted to say that. But
Don't
shit.
judge something that you don't know anything about.
Yeah.
Being
Ooh.
honest, don't just always be careful to judge something that you don't know anything about.
Mm.
One thing that I'm not saying, like, look, you're gonna take from this conversation whatever you take from it. Some people are gonna be like, oh, F that. I'm never doing that. And then some people are gonna be like, I'd be willing to try that. But I'm just saying, like, whoever this resonates with, it resonates with you. But I also encourage whoever you are to be open-minded about the things that you just don't know and that you don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you are closed-minded about something, you are only blocking yourself. Being real, I could care less if you try shrooms or not.
All
That's up
right.
to
That's
you.
up to you.
That's your own journey. I'm not here to convince you. I'm not making any money off of it. We're not benefiting in any way off of you taking shrooms, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's your own personal decision. That's your own personal journey. But what we're here to do is educate you so that you can make an informed decision. But I'm asking you to be open-minded and to not judge for your own sake.
Yeah. We're just simply here to provide exposure
Right.
and just share our experiences.
Because when I tell you about my first experience, it made me who I am today.
Give it to them raw and uncut. I want to say one thing. People fear what they do not understand.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real thing. And a lot of y'all may be judging right now, but it's because you fear what you do not understand. But be open minded, y'all. That's it. But
Yeah.
give it to them raw and uncut, baby. Give it to them real. What's up?
Shrooms made me the person that I am today, and shrooms saved our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Our first shroom trip is what made us get back together.
Hmm.
And that may be very difficult to believe, and you may be judging us off of that, but I'm going to tell you why. First of all, I was about to cut Jamal off.
Yeah.
When I was about to cut him, I had already started talking to somebody else. Like I was done because he was very much so in this space of, I just want to be friends. I don't want to take it to the next level. Let's stop. Like, I'm not trying to be romantic with you. Yada yada yada. All this BS, right? And I was like, all right, you don't want that. Well, I've accepted within myself that I do want that. I do want to be with you.
But tell them why I was kind of on that type of energy though.
Jamal was on that type of energy because he felt like I was chasing him. There was not room for him to chase me, for him to pursue me, because he felt like I was the one that was doing all the pursuing. He felt like I still had some room to grow in my self-love journey, which I get it. But because I was in a place, I felt like I wasn't all the way in my self-love journey, but I learned. Look, I did some searching in my single season, and I understood that if I don't want something, if I want something and someone's not willing to give it to me, then I gotta leave. So something that I came to terms with is that if he does not want to take this relation, our friendship, to the next level and want to be romantic with me, I cannot deny the fact that I want him. I cannot deny the fact that I want to be in a relationship. And if he cannot give that to me, and if that's creating this turmoil, this sadness, this disruption within my peace and my journey, then he gotta go. So I let that be known. I was literally I wrote him a letter. And he came to my house. He showed up at my house. He randomly called me. I was knocked out. He randomly called me. And he was like knocking on my door, ringing my doorbell or whatever. And I didn't hear none of it. Anyway, so yeah, he showed up to my house and I was ready to hand him this letter. And he knew what it was. I always write letters. He knew exactly he knew exactly what it was. So he took it and he put it in his pocket and he never read it. But on that day forward, he came in and we talked, and I was open and honest about the fact that he cannot give me what I want. And if he cannot give me what I want, then there's nothing for us to do here. And he made the recommendation, let's take a trip. What?
Hold that beautiful thought. To add on to that, as to reason why why was I like that towards you? I think it's also important to share that I sensed and felt some type of like internal pain or something that you was dealing with, and I can just feel that and sense that as well. I mean, we talked about that as well. So that, even that, it just kind of had me in this place of like this,
Yeah,
in a sense, because I can see it. I felt that as well, and it was like, okay, a part of me wanted to see you get past that hump too, as on longer with everything else too. So, but the shroom trip is a huge indicator, huge reason that allow us to get over that hump. But yeah, the shroom trip.
so I had to reposition myself. But the way that Shroom saved our relationship is that blockage that he said, that pain that he said that he felt coming from me, it released me from that, which then opened the doorway for us to build a genuine connection with each other outside of pain. So what happened during my trip, it was cool for a minute. The way that we describe Shroom trips is kind of like a plane. Like you're on the runway and you can kind of feel it. You feel like this gradual climb, and then all of a sudden you're in the air and you're in it.
Gone.
In it. But that climb is very slow and steady and gradual. It doesn't just like punch you in the face. It's very gradual. Like you look up and you're like, oh, okay. I guess this is what we're doing. But yeah, so it was cool. Like we were chilling. And then I felt it coming on and I just burst into tears. Like when I tell you, it was the hardest cry that I've ever had in my life. The way that I kept describing it to Jamal is it was like I felt all of the pain that I have ever felt in my life. Because if you guys do not know, I had a pretty rough childhood emotionally. I had a pretty rough childhood where both of my parents were very unavailable. Like my mother was very emotionally unavailable, and my father wasn't really available in general because he was in prison, in and out of prison my entire life. So I did not have a good relationship with either of my parents growing up. And I was a child where I I think anxiety disorders are developed rather than that they are hereditary. I think that they are developed. So along that journey, I developed an anxiety disorder. And from talks with counselors and psychiatrists, they let it be known that it was a very severe case of generalized anxiety disorder. But I went through phases of suicidal thoughts. I dealt with depression for 10 years of my life, even self-harm. I did not love myself at all. I had a very rough childhood in that sense of where I just felt like there was no emotional guidance. There was no emotional or spiritual guidance. And even though I was well taken care of, even though I was clothed, fed, bathed, all of those things, I was well taken care of. My mother did a wonderful job as a single mother taking care of me. However, I did not have that emotional support or guidance. Emotions were looked down upon in my family because we have a lot of masculine women who have been through such hardships where they could not trust men who had to develop masculine traits in order to support their family. So that brought on a lot of pain in my life, and especially me growing up not loving myself and me not trusting myself or really respecting my own emotions, therefore ignoring a very crucial, powerful part of myself. Because I grew up that way, it only attracted even more terrible negative situations of people who did not love and respect me. So I've endured a lot of emotional and spiritual pain and trauma throughout my life. So when I took these shrooms and I let out that cry, it's because it felt like all of the pain that I ever experienced in my life just came into me at once. It's so hard to explain, but it was so painful. It felt like my heart was just shattering. It was awful. I didn't know what to do. And in that moment, my father called me. And y'all, my father is in prison. And, he doesn't call that often. He calls more often now. Our relationship, after that conversation, our relationship has been the best that it has ever been in my entire life. We went from not having any type of relationship to having a negative relationship to now having the best relationship we've ever had from that one conversation. Okay. But my father does not call me that often. So did not call me that often. So the fact that he called me in that moment, that he chose that moment to call me and to tell me something he has never told me ever in my life. He literally called, and without being provoked, I don't even know why I answered the phone, but without being provoked, what he told me was he was like, you don't have to try so hard. I feel like you've had a lot of pressure on you throughout your life to just be the best. And you've carried so much weight on yourself. And you just don't have to try so hard. Y'all.
Yeah.
When I tell you, it literally felt like my younger self died. When I tell you I was clutching my heart, it felt like I had a heart attack almost. And not like physically, but just emotionally. Like my heart was just, I felt like my younger self died because that little girl in me, that's all she's been wanting to hear her entire life. The reason why I chased men, the reason why I could never just have a healthy relationship and why I felt like I had to force people to love me is because I always felt like I had to prove myself to my parents in order to receive affection. Because the only affection that I got from my parents was when it was them congratulating me or like praising me for things that I had done, like my accolades, the fact that I made good grades, the fact that I was in honor society, the fact that I was involved, the fact that I went to college. That was the only time that I got that love, quote unquote, love from my parents because they weren't affectionate people. Like I told you, as a child, I was emotionally deprived. I did not get love and affection. My mom was not a hugger. She was not the type to tell you I love you. She's just now starting to do that, like in my adult years. So I felt that the only way people were going to love me is if I could prove to them that I'm lovable. If I could do something to show them that I am lovable. And hearing my father say that released me from that thought. And it's the shrooms that brought that on. Did you want to say something?
That's powerful. I want to say nothing. There's no such thing as coincidence.
Yeah.
That was meant to happen. That was definitely divine. That's and for that to happen in that moment, wow, beautiful.
I literally had to mute the phone because I was like screaming. I was dying.
Yeah,
My little girl, the one who experienced so much trauma and hurt and abuse, that little girl could finally rest.
wow. Like, and to add on to that, onto that, it was like we was watching a funeral session, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
you were finally putting the pain and trauma from that little girl to rest. She finally could like rest.
Yeah.
And after that whole episode, y'all, well, let me share my perspective.
Yeah, because he was there. He watched this with his own
I
eyes.
watched the whole thing. Let me tell you what first came to my mind when you started like screaming. Like she was screaming, y'all, like screaming, and I'm standing like, oh my god, what did I do to this girl? What did I do? She ain't gonna never be the same. Like, what is going on here? But I was keeping my composure, but I was like, okay. Because this was, I'm just being real, I was like learning too, I share what worked for me, but I did not truly understand the depth of like, okay, shrooms is going to do for that person what it needs to do for that person.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's experience is going to be different. So if you're dealing with a lot of pain and pent up trauma and pain, like the shrooms, the shrooms they got your best interests at heart.
Yep.
Period. They have your best interests at heart. So if that for you, if that was what's necessary for you to do, then you needed to do that.
Yeah.
To get free.
Yeah.
And that's a lesson in that. You have to go through those necessary sessions to get to your freedom. Like, why do you want to hold on to all that pain and hurt? No, like conceptually, like you don't want to live like that.
Mm-mm.
But a lot of you unknowingly are living like that. It just becomes your norm. It's your norm. So it's time to break free, y'all. So just take that back to the point I'm making. But
Hold on
yeah.
1 second. That the strain that we use, first of all,
Oh,
I want to talk about that. The strain that we use is called Golden Teachers.
yeah.
And we've tried another strain. I don't even know what it was. It was
Yeah.
like albino something, I guess. And we're going to try more strains in the future. So we can't necessarily judge.
Yeah.
But I will say from using that one other strain, I definitely did not like it as much as I like Golden Teachers.
Yeah.
The way that I see shrooms, because I use Golden Teachers for my first experience, the way that I see it is as a spiritual awakening. Every time I do a shroom tip, I just get downloads, like crazy downloads from my higher self that's helping me elevate who I am as a person. So with the other strain, I just did not feel that same thing. But I'm excited to try more and see what happens. But the reason why they call them Golden Teachers is because they're there to teach you. They have your best interest at heart, like Jamal said.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm glad you added that in. And yeah, we're going to expand to other strains because I'm curious to know like different strains cause for different experiences.
Yeah.
So why not?
We'll see.
So yeah. But yeah, just from my perspective, I was like, what is going on here? Like, yo. And just I was like watching her on the ground, you having your experience, you just like in a fetal position, dealing with her own trauma experience and on the phone with her dad, trying to keep her composure, but at the same time, like you just unleashing and then muting the phone so she can cry while he talked. But on the other side of that, it's like I literally watched a person transform like that. Yeah. Literally, like it's like when you got up, well, talk about it. Like when you got up, you were a completely different person. I was like this. But yeah.
I imagine that when a caterpillar, goes into the cocoon, that it's not a pleasant experience. It doesn't look pleasant, to be honest. Just looking at the transformation that a caterpillar has to undergo in order to become a butterfly, it doesn't look like it's pleasant. It looks painful, being real. And that's what it felt like. Like I went into my cocoon and I went through that pain, But when I came out, I was a completely different person. The best way I can describe it, it just felt like I was dripping in gold.
Wow, great analogy.
It literally just felt like I was dripping in gold. Like I just felt so high. Like I just felt like I was that girl. Like I just felt like a goddess. Like I just imagined in my head the energy that I felt was that I was on a pedestal. I literally imagined myself sitting on top of a pedestal in the clouds, just surrounded by gold. That's literally, I can't explain that. That's the best way that I can explain it.
Mm-hmm.
But even when I looked in the mirror, I was just like, you are awesome. You're amazing. Like, is this what self love feels like? I feel like that was the very first time that I got to truly experience what like I had been practicing self-love up to that point. I had been putting my boundaries in place and making conscious decisions to do things that a person that loves themselves would do. But when I looked in that mirror, that was the first time that I truly felt a genuine wholeness and self-love.
And also, it was like you felt like you was genuinely attracted to yourself. He was like, damn, I'll have sex with myself. I was like, damn, that's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Jamal was there, but I had no concern about
Yeah.
him
You
being
said
there.
bump me.
I had no like, and y'all, I Jamal is a fine man. He's an amazing man. I love me some Jamal, okay? And that was the first time that he was in my presence and I didn't care that he was in my presence. I was so concerned about me. And every time I trip is like that. Like we call my trip self. Her name is Red.
Yeah.
Red does not give an F about anybody. And that may sound like a bad thing, but me naturally in my natural state, like I care way too much about other people. And I always have cared way too much about other people, their needs, their desires, their wants, what they think.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've always been concerned about that. So for me to be in my trip self and not give a F about anybody else, that's different for me. And being in that state has taught me a lot about just putting myself first in certain situations. There's balance in that.
Mm-hmm.
So he was there, but I was not concerned about him, like at all. And that turned Jamal
It
on.
was so attractive.
You talk about your perspective.
Yeah. I was like, at that moment when I saw that, I was like, that's what I was waiting for. Period. Or just to see that you loved yourself enough to not see me. But don't take that the wrong way, y'all. Like that you're like I'm not your central focus.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like you were just a puppy just trying to, you know, it
Mm-hmm.
was you was on so yeah, you cute, I see you. But you see what this is right here, don't you? You know what I'm saying? It literally felt like I felt like I could be a lion chasing a gazelle now. And that's as a man, that's what you want. Women, and it's a message to the women, like you want to get to a place within yourself that you love yourself enough to not chase a man, but you respect yourself enough, you love yourself enough to love yourself. And that is a lot self-love. But men want to see that. We are natural hunters.
Mm-hmm.
We want to go hunt. So to see that, I was like, oh yeah, damn, I've been waiting on this because I stuck with you for whatever my reasons. I saw something in you, but I knew there was a certain blockage. There was just something that we just couldn't get past.
Mm-hmm.
I just couldn't really put my finger on it.
Mm-hmm.
But when it got exposed to me, like that blockage was over, and I saw the freaking thing that I always knew was there. It was like literally right there in my face. I say it's raps.
Literally that day, he said verbatim, I can chase you now. And he started calling, y'all, he started calling women that he felt like might have had like any type of attraction with or might have had anything. He said, I gotta clean up. And he started calling other women and was like, yeah, I'm taking this other person seriously. So if you thought that we had anything, it ain't what it is. It ain't what you think that it is.
Yeah. And I did it respectfully,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, he did.
and kudos to myself for doing it. That's growth on my end. Hey, respecting women enough to call them and being like, uh, I know we had something going on before or whatever, but I just wanted to let you know that I'm seriously considering somebody. I'm very serious about this person. And I just want you to know that, that I want to like part ways, no bad blood, just good love, good energy between us. I wanted to make sure I communicate that to you. And that's what it was like. I feel like women would respect that. A grown woman,
Yeah.
a grown, mature, solid woman would respect that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because it clears up any confusion.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's perfect, clear communication, even if it may hurt, is necessary.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I thought, and guys, I thought that this wouldn't last. I was talking to somebody else, and he was telling me like you might feel that way now, but shrooms give you like a 2 week high. And I was like, I was kind of discouraged. I was like, damn, am I not gonna love myself anymore after 2 weeks? He was wrong. Um,
Yeah.
it never went away.
Yeah.
It never went away. I still feel the same. I'm not the same person that I was
Yeah.
before I took it.
I will say this too: when you have big breakthroughs like that, you have to get used to your new norm.
It literally felt like I was living a new life. I
Yeah,
forgot about that.
definitely talk about that.
I remember that. It literally felt like I was a new person. Like it was weird waking up the next day and like not tripping anymore. But it was weird waking up the next day and just it felt like I was living a whole different life.
You're basically reborn. You're like you was a baby again, trying to learn again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was interesting. I forgot about
yeah,
that.
that's an important phase. So, for somebody who may experience it, how would you coach them through that? What do they do?
I just remember like I'm trying to remember what it was like, but it was just like my thoughts were different. Like the way that I saw life through my own eyes was now different because I was seeing it through a lens of clarity, of
Mm,
wholeness, of love.
mm,
When I used to see life through a very traumatic, painful type lens,
that's deep.
I used to make all of my decisions based out of my pain and out of my trauma. And like I said, even though I was in a phase where I was making conscious decisions now because I understood that I made decisions, that I naturally made decisions out of trauma and pain. I understood that. So I was being proactive at making intentionally whole decisions. Like I was making decisions that a person that loves himself would make. However, it was hard for me to do those things because naturally I wanted to do the painful thing. I wanted to do the decision that more aligns so with my pain and with
Mm,
my comfort. But now, naturally, the decisions that I was making on a day to day, and it could be little things, it could just be decisions to talk to somebody, it could be decisions to go to work, to stay at home, to pick up a book, like little decisions. You don't understand that every little decision that you make is based out of the way that you see yourself, the world, and the people around you.
mm-hmm.
So now that I had healed from that trauma, all the little decisions that I was making was from a place of love and from wholeness and from healing. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't feel this burning desire to do something that wasn't good for me.
Yeah.
Everything that I wanted to do, I knew was like healthy and productive to where I was trying to go for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine healing and then now having to relearn, like not even necessarily relearn, but just get comfortable with a whole new perspective and way of thinking because now my beliefs had changed. That your beliefs create your thoughts and your thoughts create your reality,
All right.
right? Your decisions are going to be based off of your beliefs. So now that my beliefs have changed, my reality was different.
Mm-hmm.
And for somebody who's going through that, honestly, that's a beautiful, like, there was nothing wrong with that. Like, I was happy to be experiencing that.
Yeah.
It was absolutely beautiful.
Yep.
So if you're going through that, like, take that in.
Yeah. Yo, paradigm shifts are dope. That's basically what happened. Like you went through an ultimate paradigm shift. Like, yo, the old paradigm that you were seeing life through was like been shattered, thrown out the window. And it's like now there's new territory and you can't resort back to your old self anymore. Because that's what you're so used to. But like now it's like, oh, like she good. Okay. So now that sorry, just background stuff. But now that you have to make decisions from this new paradigm, and it's new, it's like you, how would you say it? It's learning to walk again
Yeah.
from a new perspective.
Yeah.
But it's a-okay, y'all. It's beautiful. A lot of
Mhm.
people don't come across that in their lifetime.
And I will say, like, that wasn't the only groundbreaking shroom trip
Oh
that
yeah.
I've had. And I want you to talk about the biggest one that you had as well.
Which one is the big one? Because we had quite a few. Everyone is
I feel
different.
like I've had a lot, but you yourself, you've actually had two that I can think of.
Help me remember.
The
Talking
one
about
with
the
your
one with
grandparent,
Pops and
yeah, and then the other one where you went back and or you talked to your future self, or you talked to your past self. It was something like
oh
that. Both of those,
yeah.
but
Hey, for those that's listening, y'all may think that what I'm about to say is crazy. Whether or not I think what you think, I don't give a damn. It is what it is. My experience is my experiences.
it's
But
my reality. We just living in it.
yeah, for sure. For sure. There's been times where, astro projected, like kind of had like out of body experiences. I remember one time while I was on a showing trip, I was meditating, and it's like I love my body. I literally love my body. And I went back to the past of my childhood. I was probably 6, 5 or 6. And I went to my old elementary school. And there was this like treehouse playground. And I was sitting at the top of the playground
Mm-hmm.
at the top. And I had on this white shirt and some blue jeans. And I had a big head.
He
And
did have a big head.
and he would just sit up there on the top overlooking the playground right now. And I was just like there right beside him, just looking down at him. And I told him in that moment, like, hey little man, you gonna be okay. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Don't you have nothing to worry about. You're gonna be good, bro. And that's what I was saying to him. And he was just looking at me like, you know,
Yeah.
that's how I saw it. But I was just confirming him like, bro, you gonna turn out to be a great person. Nothing to worry about. And it was like a fast moment, fast interaction. It wasn't like a long thing. I just said a few things when I came back. And when I tell you that was like one of the most like I'm getting chills right now thinking about this shit. I don't know if I can see the hair standing. You can push you can. When you see that,
Yeah.
like wow, this experience, it felt so real, so real. And another experience I had when my future self came to me. And I want to add this too as well. It comes in like an energy like form.
I was gonna say that it's not like
Yeah.
you visually see something.
Mm-hmm.
You feel this energy.
Yep.
It's hard to
Yeah, it's
explain.
hard to explain, y'all, but when you'll know it. Like your experience is your experience. But I'm just speaking for mine once again. But I had an interaction with my future self. Cool ass dude. Fire. I would say he was 10 years older than me. So like maybe my 36, 37-year old self. But um he told me, he said, hey, well, I'm just gonna kind of frame in my own words what he said. But energetic, this is the energy that I received from that session, from that moment. He was like, basically, slow down a little bit. Slow down, you're moving too fast.
Mm,
Just slow your roll, bro. You kind of the decision that you're making is kind of unthought out,
mm,
you know? It's it's not like I was making my intentions were bad with my decision that I made, but just kind of slow your roll a little bit and clear all ends when it comes to the decision that you make. It you need to be more strategic with how you move. Slow it down a little bit. Slow it down. Just like chill out. Just kind of calm it down. but stay the course, but just be more mindful and slow it down a little bit. And he left like that. I said, okay. And it's moments like those in your trips and your experiences that like that was the message that I needed in that session.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. So going forward in my life, it's like, okay, I remember that. I'm going forward. Like I'm keeping that in mind.
You
You know,
know, that reminded me of Lovecraft Country,
Lovecraft Country.
the
Okay.
the show that we were watching. If you haven't seen it, that show is dope.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't. Oh, I'm gonna spoil it. I'm sorry. In advance. But they throughout the whole or show, they were talking about this moment in the father's childhood where this man came out of nowhere swinging a bat, protecting them against white people during like the Tulsa riots. So, and then at the end, it ends up being his son that time traveled back in time and ended up coming out with a bat and protecting his father, his father's childhood self. But I asked Jamal, I was like, I wonder, I'm excited to see if we get to that 37, 38-year-old self or whatever, and then you go back to your 27-year-old self
Mm.
and you say that. I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm excited to see that happen.
So yeah. So yeah, shrooms are a powerful thing. I'm excited to go deeper in my spiritual walk when it comes to this plant, this life changing plant.
Yeah.
It's levels to it, man.
And what I wanted to say, I wanted to share another experience that I had because my second trip, I actually was able to heal from my mama trauma.
Oh yeah, talk about that.
That was very interesting. But I was tripping and I was on the phone with my mom
Mm-hmm.
and we were just talking, like we were just reflecting over just my childhood, our past and everything. And something that she said so key. I was like, I think she said something about, we were talking about how my teenage years were just bad. Like I was just a mean teenager. I mean, teenage girls, I was a mean teenager. And I was like, I'm sorry that I took you through a lot. I remember, okay, yeah, when I was in an abusive relationship, my mom, like that was also around the time that I had my suicide attempt, and my mom decided to step up and just be that mother that I always needed her to be. And I'm so proud of my mom for doing that because a lot of parents don't do that. They don't change when they see that their child needs them to. So I'm very proud of my mother for doing that. But around that time, my mother, like, she was stressed out because I was stressed out. And she was like my main supporter. And so she ended up like gaining a bunch of weight. Like she went into crazy debt trying to like help me and support me while also supporting herself. Like she went through a lot.
Wow.
And we were talking about that. And I was like, Mom, I'm sorry that I put you through a lot. And she was like, No, I'm sorry I put you through a lot. My mother had never, ever, ever said anything like that. And I always had problems with my mother seeing me because I remember I said that early in the episode that the women in my family are very masculine and they kind of write off emotions. They're not really emotionally available people. So anytime that I would come to my mother and tell her, "Hey mom, I'm depressed. Hey mom, I'm harming myself. Hey mom, I'm suicidal. Hey mom, I'm not okay." She would just kind of write it off. Just be like, "Oh, you just too sensitive. You just over dramatic. You just over emotional." So I never felt seen by my mother.
Mm.
I had always been crying out for help, but I just felt like she couldn't see me. And therefore, I adopted this mentality that nobody could see me, that I was just like a ghost, essentially, and that I closed myself off to people and I never wanted to open up to people because I was afraid they couldn't see me anyway. I felt like I was wasting my breath. And therefore, I attracted people who couldn't see me. So for her to say that she actually saw me, that she actually recognized that, hey, the reason why you were so anxious and depressed and why you were suicidal and why you've attracted so many things into your life, part of that is because I raised you that way. It's because of the things that I put you through as a child. And that's the first time that she ever openly admitted to that. And I felt seen.
Wow.
I was able to, using that, I was able to take my other relationships to the next level. I could see myself now. I could trust my own intuition and the way that I felt about myself. Like, because she wrote me off, I felt like I was somebody worthy of writing off. I used to write myself off. I used to minimize my own emotions and my own experiences. But through that, I was able to become someone who recognizes myself, who trusts myself.
Wow. Powerful. I got a question, babe. And this is for the person that, they're gonna have all sorts of questions and still, even though we talking about our own personal breakthroughs and experiences, you're gonna have those one or twos out there that's gonna be like, well, couldn't you just have done that without shrooms? So what is your answer for those type of people?
Do it. If you can do it without shrooms, do it.
Perfect answer.
Being real.
Yeah.
Because y'all, I'm not stupid. I'll tell you that much. I've been on my self-love journey. I've been on my healing journey for a long time. I've been through a lot to be as young as I am. I feel like I'm very old in wisdom. And because I've been through way more than a child should have ever gone through. And I'm not saying that like to minimize anybody else's experience, because your experience is your experience, but I'm saying that because I've been trying. I've been on this journey of healing and freedom for a very long time. And I know 40, 50, 60-year-olds that still haven't healed from their traumas.
Yep.
And the fact that I was able to take a plant and that plant freed me, all those years of trying, and I'm now in a place of healing that people that are 10 times my age, and I want to say 10, 5 times my age, 4 times, 3 times my age, twice my age, have never been to, have never experienced in their life. So if you are skeptical and you're that person that says, well, you could have had that conversation with your parents without that, like you could have had these conversations with your younger self or whatever, you could have received those downloads without taking shrooms. Okay, do it.
You just need Jesus. You need to go to church. Jesus will save you, whatever. Those people out
Maybe
there.
he can. Maybe he can. I cannot speak on anybody else's experience.
Yeah.
Maybe prayer is all that you need. And if so, awesome.
And to add on to that, y'all, I was going to say, if what you're doing ain't working and you've been doing the same thing,
it's insanity.
For however long, how many years, you might want to challenge yourself to be open-minded and try something different. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What are some other questions that you think that other people would have? Is it possible to have a bad trip? With shrooms, I don't think so. I personally, now I'm gonna be honest. A bad trip, or I guess the worst trip that I've ever experienced, is just when I've gotten sick. Now there is some nausea, and I should talk about that. We should definitely talk about that.
Why you talking about that? Let me look up some things on my phone. There's something I want to share. But go ahead.
Okay, so shrooms have something, and I can't remember what it's called. It's a certain thing that's in shrooms that when it's broken down by your stomach acid, it can cause nausea. So nausea when you're taking shrooms is normal. It's completely normal. Now, one way that we found that can minimize that nausea is by grinding it up like into a fine powder and soaking it in lemon juice, because lemon juice, it can basically act like your stomach acid and break that down before you consume it. So it kind of gets rid of that nausea, and that's called a lemon tech. So we've done that. Also, y'all, I think I had like a bad nausea because we didn't know this in the beginning. So we were not taking shrooms in the best way, and it caused a lot of nausea in the beginning. And I feel like naturally my stomach just associates the smell and the taste of shrooms with that sickness. So I just get sick.
Yeah.
It's like when you see somebody else throw up and it makes you want to throw up. Yeah, it's kind of like that. So one thing that I found that helps me with that is consuming it in a tea.
Yeah, warm tea.
Yeah, so I'll
Yep.
I'll soak it in lemon juice and then I'll put that lemon juice in a tea.
Yeah. Yeah. And we thought that we can get around it. The nausea part, just being real with y'all, is something that you just most of the time will be unable to avoid.
Yeah,
But we say that to say that does not mean that something is going wrong or something is wrong with you.
yeah,
No, it's just a completely normal thing when it comes to shrooms because there is an enzyme in mushrooms and
that's the what's
shrooms called chitin.
there we go.
Chitin is the enzyme, and it just your digestive system, your stomach just doesn't is unable to process, digest, work with that enzyme. So it's just like it is what it is type thing. But it's not like it's not bad for you. Just the body just doing what it does.
Yeah,
So when you experience that nausea, just remember, okay, Jamal and Nia said that
this
this
is
would happen.
normal.
But you're just gonna have to like ride it out and see it through. And there will be a point in your shroom trip where it goes away.
Yeah,
Or also your experience may be to where you may not even experience that.
yeah.
Great, good. But like I said, heads up if you do feel that, do not be afraid. It's all good.
And like we said, like it is like a plane. So
Mm-hmm.
like some people, when the plane is taking off before it gets to its highest altitude that it needs to, that you're gonna remain at throughout the entirety of the flight, you get sick. Like your ears start to pop, your body's undergoing a lot of changes because you're reaching new altitudes, right? So during the come up, yeah, you might experience some nausea. And I encourage anyone who's doing that to just breathe through it.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to throw up, which is rare, but I have seen this with one of our friends that we've taken on a trip. Like he threw up, but then he felt fine afterwards, like completely
Yeah.
fine. So what you might experience nausea in the beginning, but that is okay. Like I said, the best way to minimize this is by doing a lemon tech,
Mm-hmm.
and tea. So
Dang, there was another thing I was gonna say as well. Um, what is something that people question that person will have? Can't remember.
I was talking about a bad trip. Can you have a bad
Oh, a
trip?
bad trip. Yes. Another thing too is shrooms vibe off energy.
That's what I yeah.
Shrooms vibe off energy. Energy is a very important component to the overall quality of your trip experience. Very important. So I say that to say if you're gonna embark on a session, be around somebody who's good energy.
Mm-hmm.
Stay away from people that's on some other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like just I would encourage you to either at some point do it by yourself. You can do it by yourself when you know what's up and your experience with it. But when you do it with somebody else, make sure they are either avid shroom takers themselves or they're a good energy to where they're not going to be a skeptical person themselves or going to
They're not
say
gonna freak
things that have
out.
you thinking crazy or
Mm-hmm.
second guessing yourself. Like they're like a huge support. Like they know what's up. They good energy. They setting high vibration intentions in that room and your session, so they understand the mission.
Yep.
So yeah.
And the reason why we said like don't take shrooms recreationally is because when you take shrooms, you become very energetically sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
Like you are tapped into your higher self and you can feel the energy
Yeah.
all around
Yep.
you. Like on a day-to-day basis, yes, we can feel energy, but when you're tripping, it's a whole you can feel everything. Like you become super empathetic, like you can feel everybody and everything around you. So that's why I say don't take it recreationally, because if you're that energetically sensitive and you're around a bunch of new people or around just a bunch of people in general, like when we did it and we were traveling around and talking to different people, and
Yeah.
it made me sick. Like I
Yeah.
just
But we had to learn
yeah,
that lesson though. We
yeah,
didn't we didn't know that it was gonna be like that. So when it comes to taking shrooms, I only if I'm doing it by myself, there's only a few key people that I do it with. Like, but couple is either if it's not with Kamal or myself. First and foremost, like myself, of course, but my queen. If
yeah,
it ain't us, I'm not doing it with nobody else.
yeah,
Not doing it. Another thing I feel like we should talk about how what shroom that does they basically rips off all the labels.
Mm.
that the world place upon you. Because when you're going about your natural life, your natural self, when you walk out the front doors of your house and go out into society or whatnot, you put on labels, you put on masks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you cover up your true self to protect yourself.
Yeah.
So when you take shrooms, it's an opportunity for you to take those hats, those labels off yourself and peel those layers off so you can get to the core of your true self of who you are, who you and one with your higher source, your higher power. And you can, and from there, that's how you're able to receive the necessary downloads that you need to receive the breakthrough that you need to get to that next level for yourself.
So I expressed this in the last episode. Again, if you haven't seen episode 12, you need to go watch that. But anyway, I expressed in the last episode that someone that I listen to very frequently is Abraham Hicks.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I'm reading one of her books, actually, The Vortex. And one thing that she was talking about is that you have your spiritual self and like your human physical self,
Mm-hmm.
but they're both within you. You are both of them at the same time. They are not separate. You don't just die and then now you become, your spiritual self. You are your spiritual self throughout your entire living experience. And when we are born, we understand that we are both energetic and physical at the same time. But throughout our lives, we are pulled further and further away from our energetic selves because we are taught things through people who have been stripped away from their energetic selves to be apart from that, because we're taught through pain and through these different experiences, through trauma, that we don't have a connection to our energetic selves, or that we cannot trust others, or we're taught different things about the world that just aren't true to who we really are. So what shrooms does is all of those things that we were taught that took us away from who we are, that took us away from that spiritual, that energetic side of ourselves, that's taken off. And we are back to that same connection with our spiritual side that we had when we were born, without all of the things that happened in between.
Yeah. That's such a powerful analogy, a powerful way to put it.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't think I have anything else when it comes to this.
Yeah.
People may ask, like, how can I get some shrooms, or what I need to do?
Yeah, that part.
We're just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. If you caught on to that, cool.
Smiles. Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to share them. Like, we'd be happy to, even if we have to do another episode on this, or a mini-sode answering your questions about it, we would happily do so. So yeah, I'm excited for you guys to share your experiences. Please share your experiences with us. We would absolutely love to. If this encouraged you to embark on your own journey, because this is a life-changing, it's a life-changing experience.
And that's for sure right there, man. Please support us if you rocking with us, rocking with the tribe. If you black and abundant, or on a course of becoming black and abundant, you like what we're doing, you see the vision, please just take a smidge of your energy and transfer it to us by just clicking that like button. You feel me? And you can exert a little bit more energy by not only just clicking, but also tapping and subscribe. Because you know why? When you do so, when you support us that way, it puts us in a position to be able to be placed in front of more people, and they can receive that message, and they can all become a part of the family too.
And also, if you exert just even a little bit more energy, click that share button, because even if you're not ready to take your own trip experience, someone near to you might need it. Someone really dear to you really might need it. So share this message with other people that you feel like might need to hear it.
Yeah.
I think it could be transformative.
For sure. For sure.
So if you did not know, I am Nia. This is my handsome fiance. Hold on, I gotta do it again. Shing, shing. You see that ring on my hand? Shing, shing, shing. But anyway, this is my handsome fiance,
so funny,
Jamal. You can find us at By Nia Love and at Jsco the producer. If you would like to purchase merch that we got on, these manifested, you see the manifested on the leg too. There it is. There it is. If you would like to purchase these, head over to manifestedperiod.com.
Mm-hmm.
If you would like some Black and Abundant merch, it is coming real soon. By next episode, you will hear it, or we'll be posting it on our Instagrams. Also, we have a couples TikTok. So go follow our TikTok at
Right.
Jamal and Nia, because we're gonna be posting a bunch of cutesy coupley shit. Yep.
Right.
Relationship goals type shit. Okay. And then also, if you need help with credit repair, business formation, foundation, if you want to do your own credit repair, or if you want him to do it for you, if you want to book a free consultation, if you need to talk to us, we do offer mentorship.
Yes, sir. Come get this knowledge.
Yes, if you would like to rock with us, go ahead and use that same link at jscocapital.com and book that free consultation. And we can talk credit, we can talk business, we can talk about your goals, whatever you need. Let us have this conversation so we can see how we can help you in whatever way that you need.
Let me say this too. I want to work with imperfect people that has a strong desire to want to level up, but they just may not know how. And people who you may not be an executor, but you desire to be an executor. You desire to be somebody that wants to take action. That's you. Let us help you.
And I don't know why we keep forgetting this, but my man has a book club.
Oh, yeah.
If you really want to tap in with him every weekday, and get gems, get downloads, get so much value that can help you elevate as a man. It is kings only. Sorry, my queens, but it's kings only. And women have been asking me to do a book club. I'm not doing that. That's just not what I want. That's not me. Sorry. But if you got a man, you need to send your man over to Jamal's book club, Kings Only Book Club. DM him at JSco the producer if you would like to join. We will have a text thing at some point where you could text the number and get that link. But if you really want to have that like close-knit attention with him and other kings that are elevating themselves every day in their life, I've heard raving reviews where these men are really being impacted by what Jamal is doing, and I'm so proud of you, babe.
Thank you.
But
Thank
yeah,
you
tap into his book club
for sure. Tell them about your book.
Oh yeah, I wrote a book. It's How to Move On in 30 Days. Yes, author. Yes, I wrote a book. I am in the process of proofreading it. I finished it, but I need to proofread it, and then I will have that out to you guys. The goal is next week, but I also have a speaking engagement. I have my first speaking engagement next week as well. And I have a million other things that I'm doing. So I'm just going to be a busy little bee. So when it gets out, it's going to be out, but it's going to be out very, very soon. Yeah. So yeah, How to Move On in 30 days.
Word. That's what's up. I didn't tell you this.
What'd you do?
I'm dropping 2 more ebooks. But it's in regards to like
you don't tell me nothing.
Credit repair.
Just be doing stuff.
It's to help. It's more value to add to credit repair people family, because that's important. But I say that to say we working, y'all.
We working.
There's
a reason why we've been missing.
Yeah, it's a reason why we've been missing, for sure. And as we keeping y'all in mind with everything that we do, I just gotta say, babe, I watch you every day. I'm so proud of you. That baby has been working. This book that you just dropped, like y'all,
it's fire. I gotta toot my own horn with that one.
Her book is pooping on all the stuff I did, baby. Your book is fire.
You know what? I'll take it even further. The first 3 people to DM me, if you're listening to this and you want my book, How to Move On in 30 Days, if there's somebody that you just can't let go of, a toxic relationship that you're in, or a breakup that you're going through, or just any attachment that you may have to somebody in general, if you're trying to free yourself from attachment and cultivate self-love within yourself so that you can make more conscious decisions, like I've been talking about throughout this podcast. If you want to make more conscious decisions to do better for yourself, but you're just trying to figure out where to begin, how to really go about doing so, then you need to get this book, How to Move On in 30 Days. So the first 3 people to DM me and tell me that you want that book at By Nia Love, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I'm telling y'all, this is a world best-selling book.
I'll
Hop
send
on
it
that.
to you for the freezy.
I believe it.
It's gonna be the rough draft copy now. I'm just gonna share the Google Doc with you because it's
Yeah.
not formatted right now. But if you want first dibs on that book for free, because it will be a price tag later. Once it's formatted, it's gonna have a price tag on
For
it.
sure.
So if you want it for the freezy, just DM me.
That's love.
That
That's
is
what's up.
love.
That's real love.
That's love for real.
I'm excited. So we out.
I guess we out. We love you guys, and we'll catch you on the flip side.